Hi guys, if you want to hear a longer version of this podcast where we go through you, the viewer, or the listener's game-changing tips, sign up to our version of Patreon that's even better. It's anotherslice.com/absolute game changer. All right.
Hello.
You want to know my game-changing tip this week?
Yes, please. Tell me a game changer.
This is going to sound a bit ungrateful, but it's meant with love to my parents.
Okay, good. I was ready to be annoyed.
When video calling your parents, use Zoom, the non-premium one, because it runs out of 40 minutes.
So it caps
And
it.
actually, no one should ever have more than 40 minutes of stuff to say to their family. Because I love them. But like 40 minutes is normally like, great, we've got an end point.
Yeah, it's a good
Then I
one.
don't, otherwise sometimes I feel...
Yeah, with
do you know
mine...
what it is? Well, I'm just, with family, love them, but I feel like just speaking directly to someone for 40, it's like a very intense... Like if you're normally, obviously we live in different countries, so I don't see them as much, but normally if I see my parents, you chat for a bit, you watch a bit of TV, you can't do... So it's just a lot to just be like, here's what I'm up to, what are you up to? And I used to be, it'd be annoying when Zoom first came out. You're like, oh my God, it's like, you got to have to, everyone would do the thing where we wouldn't pay for it. It would end.
And then someone else would,
you'd resend the email,
someone
go back on.
host, yeah.
But actually, just that 40-minute time period, it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think, because my parents are not very good. Like they have Zoom, but it doesn't really work for them. So we're on Skype. So sometimes we're on for like over an hour.
It's a lot of...
It's a lot.
You hear a lot of... If anyone else's parents of a similar age, 98% of the conversation is about their medical visits. It's just like, what's going on? How's that? Basically, which is difficult because that's... when you get older, I think it's a lot of your life. But I think when I'm older, I'll just quietly die. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna
I just
tell everyone.
tell my kids, it's like, oh yeah, so yeah, I got that medicine and now I'm doing that, and it's like, it's not ungrateful. I love them, but it's just like that.
They don't
over 40 minutes of that is a lot.
Just not by the nature of people getting older, they don't do as many things.
They don't.
So my mum's tends to be lots of medical stuff, but I do think it's important to know the medical stuff.
Gotta know it.
Then
I guess on the flip side, it's funny sometimes when parents are like, oh yeah, by the way, I was in A&E for two days.
Yeah,
and
my mum does that
I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to worry you. Well, yeah, tell me that.
you tell me she literally tells me every bulb she's planted in the garden and the name of every rose name, but she doesn't tell me when she's in A&E, and I'm like, Mum.
Yeah.
Those are the things I want to know.
Yeah, they want to make you fly back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But bottom line, despite all that, it's 40 minutes. Do you Zoom family, Indy?
Yeah, FaceTime. What's A&E?
Oh, sorry, emergency, ER.
Oh, ER. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
The side of the
Cool.
Accident and emergency in the UK, ER here.
Accident and emergency. I like that.
Not the emergency room, which I always think is actually false advertising because it's not it's emergency rooms, isn't it? Because you start in the big room, and then you're there for 12 hours.
Then you sometimes go into
to
the
another
corridor.
room, a corridor, then another room. You're basically like in a Russian doll of slightly smaller
and smaller
rooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do FaceTime, do you?
Yeah, I FaceTime my dad, and it's the same thing. Yeah, he just got new teeth. The pearlies.
Yeah.
And it's a really long process, so we go through everything.
Go through the whole thing,
fun
right?
part of that.
Get the whole thing.
But I also think it's like, it's they don't get to talk to, at least my dad, he doesn't really get out much, so he doesn't get to talk to anybody who's willing to listen to him for more than 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So
That's very true.
I kind of like, if I was in his shoes, I would want to like just talk to my son.
Definitely.
Too, but like
100%.
I get it too. There's a point where I'm like, so you give the, all right, so, to end the call,
Here's a question. Well, maybe this is a British thing. None of our parents will ever just randomly call us.
No.
It's always
us
I
doing
think
it
it's because they don't want to disturb us. But if I kind of wish they would just give me a call where I'm like, little text, should we arrange? And then there's like a meeting. Mm-hmm. Whereas just like, call me, let's have a 10-minute chat and we can do another 10-minute chat. But it's always like this sort of, We are having a meeting where we stare at each other.
I think there's also something though with the time difference.
That's true.
Because we can only speak to them in the morning, which is often when, work day started, you have meetings, you have work to do, you have I used to love calling my parents at night instead of watching Netflix for half an hour. That was great, but you can't do that now. So it's harder because you're like, fuck, I've got to fit it into my day when I've got to do these other 100 million things, and now I've got to do an hour of talking to them, which is not how you should think. But I do think it's harder when the window is smaller to be able to speak to them.
I think they should just hit us up. Spontaneous. The art of a spontaneous phone call has left society, and I'm a fan. You famously, not famously to these people, but you hate a phone call.
I hate a phone call.
You hate being called.
Uh-huh. I have not with my parents are fine. You're fine, but I get anxious because I feel like I have to be really interesting on a call. And really fun, and sometimes I'm like, oh my god, do they want me to be available to them for an hour? I don't know. You've
confused phone calls with podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, what do I don't know. I feel like
you'll see on this, you don't even have to be that interesting.
Yeah, it's true.
People,
it's very true.
Nothing better to do watching us talk about me telling people to use Zoom.
To use Zoom for 40 minutes. But yeah, I find phone calls I hate phoning someone else. I'll phone I regularly hate, like normal people hate like customer calls and shit, like obviously like that customer service and all that. But I really get anxious calling friends if they said they want to call me. If they call me, it took me a while. Like if I see someone's name, I'm like, oh my God, it's Kate. And you're like, we'll pick up. And I'm like, I just don't know if I've got the time to give her. Over that. Yeah, I know. Because I feel like, because I think that I would want someone when they're on the phone to me to give me their full attention. I hate it when my mum used to go off and do other things while we were on the phone. And she'd be like, and I'm like, Mum, I'm giving you my time and you're not even listening to me. So I feel like I have to give that respect to people who call me. And then I get anxious that I don't have enough time to do it. And then what if they want to talk for too long and I need to go out or... Yeah.
All right. Everyone, I'll give out Hannah's phone number and then you can call her. And call her while gardening. She fucking loves that.
I fucking hate it.
All right. So the Zoom call, what have you got?
Oh, yes. I have... Well, I feel like for Americans, it's a slightly longer game changer. And for the UK, there's the second part of it that's for the UK and anyone else. Heinz Baked Beans. Heinz Baked Beans. So are my initial... I have to give that as a caveat because I'm sure lots of people know what Heinz Baked Beans are. But add to it... Worcestershire sauce and Tabasco.
Oh, both. I'm saying a lot of people know Worcester sauce in the UK.
Is it Worcester or Worcestershire?
It's Worcester. I mean, I think its full name is Worcestershire sauce, but I think it's just Worcester sauce.
Oh, okay. So I haven't been calling it wrong this whole time.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up right now.
But Heinz Baked Beans to me are the meal of champions as they are. This is different to the baked beans you often get here in the US because those are like... made in like, I don't know,
Worcestershire sauce.
Barbecue.
I call it Worcester. We're pals.
Okay. All right. But the beans you get here normally, there's obviously like loads of refried beans, etc., with the heavily Mexican influence, which is they're amazing on their own. But baked beans are the ones. Beans on toast is like, I could eat that for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. What?
It's funny because just any English person is like, yeah.
But the added thing of Worcestershire sauce and Tabasco, and I feel like Worcestershire is the British like
and now you brought
component,
a Mexican,
and now I've brought this like fusion,
Mexican British fusion food.
Right,
it's actually quite good.
It is so good because it brings a little bit of heat and a little bit of like
tang.
Honestly, try it. I know it's a very short game changer.
I wonder if what it'd be like to make a spicy Worcester sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
I wonder if we just add Tabasco to Worcestershire sauce. Would that be a game changer? Oh my God, are we like the guy, the reggae sauce man? Mm-hmm. We've just invented a sauce. We should go to Shark Tank right now.
Yeah. I don't know if we can patent that though. Yeah. 2 other sauces. You don't put sriracha. You do like a
No.
what's that really good hot sauce here called? Indy, the one that's
Tapatio.
Tapatio. Yeah.
Tapatio. That's good. That's
Worcestershire
a good one.
Tapatio sauce.
Yeah.
Into it. What I used to, when I make baked beans back in the day, I'd fry onions, put them on top of that.
Oh, that's a big yes. A friend of mine used to little tiny bits of bacon.
Yeah. Basically, put anything in baked beans.
Just put anything in baked beans. Indy, have you had baked beans?
British baked beans.
We have Butch's baked beans.
No.
Here with the cute golden retriever dog.
No.
Oh,
Too sweet. Too sweet.
What is it? Heinz the ketchup brand?
Yes.
Baked beans. I don't think we even.
They sell them. We buy them here.
Oh my god! I'm going to bring you a tin.
We'll bring you a tin.
I'm going to bring you guys a tin. You have to, and you have to give us the lowdown of what you actually.
Because the American one, I've had it. It's too sweet. But all your shit's too sweet.
Everything's too
sugar.
sweet.
You know, there's no
Bread.
in America. There's no legal limit to how much sugar you can put in stuff because they want you to become addicted to it. But in the UK and EU, there's regulation.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is weird because I am definitely addicted to sugar.
Yeah.
I fucking love sweet things, ridiculous. But I don't like I don't mind the baked beans here, but they're just not. There's just something so saucy and yum about the other ones that are so good. Oh my god! So okay, we're going to bring you some baked beans. You got to get some Worcestershire. Do you have Worcestershire sauce? Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Okay, Worcestershire sauce.
The Worcestershire sauce here also not as good as in the UK.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just saying, British food shit apart from Worcester sauce and baked beans.
yeah. And what were they called?
Leon Perrins.
Leon Perrins.
Yeah.
I used to think it was Leon Perry's
Okay.
for ages, so I always have to check.
It's Leon Perrins.
Yeah. No.
It's like you always say here, can I have tomato sauce? And people go, what? And then you mean ketchup. And then in your head you're like, oh, because Americans call it tomato sauce. I'm like, no. They invented ketchup.
Yeah,
it's called ketchup.
They invented ketchup?
I think they did, yeah. I'll take it. I mean,
All you get on here are facts. All you get.
Talk amongst yourselves. Where was ketchup made?
It's hard to talk over you.
China. Fucking hell. China. Now they definitely know they're going to take over the world.
They invent everything good.
They invented ketchup.
Oh my God.
Also gunpowder. I mean, that's two American things right there.
That's true.
But they didn't invent
Trump was right. Let's make America great again.
No, dear God. Take that out.
Shit.
Not even.
I'm joking. The first version of ketchup was based on pickled fish and looked more like soy sauce. Well, that doesn't sound like ketchup.
That just sounds like soy sauce.
All right, Heinz ketchup, originally made in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
One British thing that we eat recently is shepherd's pie,
Oof.
which is incredible, and
Great.
I've only had it this year.
Put mashed potato on top of some...
Oh, we do, yeah.
Yeah.
We have the Gordon Ramsay recipe, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, every time I go to Vegas, there's a new restaurant that he owns, which is... That guy keeps getting, like... But he's got a new restaurant because his other one clearly failed, but they just go...
How does he get an investor again?
Yeah, this guy, he keeps swearing at people. Get him in there.
He's fixed all those restaurants that only lasted again for another couple of weeks after the show.
Gordon Ramsay owns and collapses a restaurant more often than I go and eat at a restaurant. I can't keep up with Gordon Ramsay's creation and demise of restaurants.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So
Or maybe he should introduce the baked bean, Tapatio, Worcestershire collab. And maybe he'll have a successful
That'd be
restaurant.
interesting to hear his absolute game changer.
Oh my God. It would involve something where he'd
eat
swear.
that. He'd eat Worcester and the thing combined. He'd be like, oh, fucking hell.
Spit it out. Yeah.
Simplify it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 pieces of bread.
Why are you putting them together? Yeah. Separate, simple, minimize. All right.
It's quite good, actually.
We've got a game-changing tip here from very funny comedian Jason Cheny.
Ah, love that guy.
This is one that my psychiatrist told me, and it game changed me. And this is a really good podcast, by the way. So she said that don't use words like should have or should, like, because if you use, there's no should, because if there's should have, then it feels like you already failed and it's just really what you want to do. And if you apply should to other people, it often ends up you being frustrated. So basically like no expectations. So the should and would thing has just really changed my shit, because anything I do, I just go, well, I don't, it's not like I should do it, it's like I don't have to if I don't want to. So it makes me like a lot less pressure and anxiety for me for so I love that one.
I absolutely love that.
Just saved everyone several $1,000s on therapy.
I know, but that's also the.
And guys, if you've that saved money, you can just spend $5 a month and go on to anotherslice.com/absolute game changer. Sorry, I cut you off. You're being actually quite serious.
No,
I
think
it's
really
very
lovely.
lovely. I agree with it as well.
That's the first comedian I think that hasn't said something about travel, and then instead just like.
Have you not heard that one before?
I kind of have, but I love it. I just think that's
good.
so good to remember. Sometimes I hear these things all the time, but sometimes it's good to remind.
Sometimes you need Jason Cheny to say it.
Yeah. I think it is really, I think that I've been trying to be more compassionate to myself and others, and I think it is really important to not make yourself feel like you're failing already or whatever, and like, oh, I would love to do that, as opposed to I should do that, I should do
when you
this.
say the words like that, the subconscious only knows what you're saying, and by saying it you make it a thing. So by changing the way you say the things, it does actually affect your overall mood.
Totally.
And actually I wrote on my fridge, because weirdly I told him, my therapist said a really similar thing, and I've written, don't say I should do this, say I would like to. I'd like to, but it doesn't matter. No pressure if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like I would like this podcast to be loved by lots of people, but doesn't have to be.
I would like to do this podcast. I don't feel like I should do this podcast. I just enjoy it.
I put you in the van every day to bring you here.
Yeah, he straps up my hands and shoves me in the car. In
a loving, compassionate way.
Yeah. No, but I think that is a really great, absolute game changer. I think that, and also something I read on just similarly that was like, whoa, to me was, and I read it in one book, so I'm not a scientist. I don't know if you guys know that. So this might be wrong, but it said this book. You
just invented a new sauce out of two sauces.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Kitchen wizard.
Give me the lab coat now, boys. I read that your brain, every time you have an emotion of any kind, it gives off, different kind of like pheromones or what, those kind of things. And your brain becomes addicted to the one you experience the most. So it will actively try and make you feel that over and over again. So if you are a naturally anxious person, whatever the anxiousness releases to your brain, it will constantly try and make you feel anxious because it's addicted to it. So that was something that was really nice for me, because it made me think, okay, cool. It's not just me. I'm just an anxious person. It's my brain is just liking that feeling, and it's pushing me into these. So I can change it, and it's okay. And I'm not choosing to be anxious. I found that really helpful as well. I think that there's, as much as, especially in the UK, we are not open as much to mental health and self-growth and all that. It's like, oh, it's so stupid, whatever. I think it's really fucking important. And the Beastie Boys, one of the Beastie Boys once said, and I just love the quote, because he was getting interviewed by a journalist when he was older, and the journalist was like, you used to rap about like quite misogynistic things, and now you're trying to, you go against that, and you're, all about women's rights and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I'd rather be a hypocrite than haven't changed at all. And I think that is really important. Deep. I know.
Beastie Boys. Already loved them.
Already love them, and now you just love them more. But yeah, I think it is, and that's a really cool one. You shouldn't have to do anything. You can do things or not do them, and that's
I've heard somebody say, stop shitting yourself.
Oh, I like that.
Stop shitting yourself.
It's got a tinge of sadness because we're in America. And
then you can use the Tide pen.
Shoot your
yeah. Oh, I heard shooting yourself, like shitting yourself.
Oh, I heard like shooting. Like shooting.
Okay.
No, shit. Yeah.
That's
Should
better.
and shit, yeah.
There we go.
I prefer that a lot, actually. This is the first time I've said I prefer shitting.
Yes.
Woo!
We gotta do it, people. That was lovely. That was a lovely.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Cheny.
Jason Cheny. Love you, man. That's the end of the normal episode. If you want to go to the premium one where we read out our listeners' ones, anotherslice.com/absolute game changer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, see you guys next week.